Hello everyone, welcome to the second race broadcast of the day here at the Nürburgring for the Truck Grand Prix and the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's great to be here for this wonderful event once again. Very, very excited to get this one underway, and I know there's lots of people out there that are certainly excited to see this second race. The reverse grid race, always very exciting indeed, and I know that there's going to be a bit of argy-bargy in the middle of the pack here on this very tight and twisty circuit. It should be lots of fun though, and we hope you're also looking forward to it at home, wherever you may be watching from around the world, or whether you're even here at the circuit as well and fancy tuning in to the live feed. The sun is shining here at the Nürburgring though. The weather has been fantastic this afternoon. Delighted to say that I'm on site for this one and have been walking around with my girlfriend, enjoying the paddock and speaking to everybody, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun this afternoon. Really good times. We were at the autograph session earlier on today. All the drivers seem to be in good spirits and excited for another reverse grid race, as they often are. And all the fans are packing the grandstands and the balconies and all sorts. That's just above the AMG lounge there on the start-finish straight. And we'll have a quick look, shall we, at the highlights from the first race that got us here to this reverse grid situation. A lovely straightforward race then for race one of the weekend. A little bit of contact here and there. Luke Garrett and Louis Requenco came together. It was determined to be Luke Garrett's fault in the incident in the end, so he got a 5-second penalty applied, but he finished at the back of the grid anyway. In fairness, he was right down at the back. And I'm delighted to say we're going to go down to the grid and we'll hear from Christina.
Thank you very much. Hallo zusammen. Wir sind sowas von bereit für das zweite Rennen hier an diesem Tag Reverse Grid. Das haben unsere Kommentatoren ja gerade schon erklärt. Das heißt also, hier wird auch mal alles umgedreht. Die Person, die auf Platz 8 beendet hat, startet jetzt hier von der Pole Position. Das ist der Portugiese José Eduardo Rodrigues. Und wir freuen uns sehr auf dieses Rennen. Es ist actiongeladen, jedes Mal. Und umso mehr freuen wir uns jetzt auch die internationalen Fans zu begrüßen. Hey everyone, worldwide fans from the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome back to the Nürburgring for the second race of this weekend. This is a small animal here. That's fine. It can stay there. Just keep calm and quiet. You know, that's very important for racing also. Ihr seht es ja gerade am Mikrofon. Hier hat mich ein kleines Tierchen besucht, aber da gilt es halt auch, die Ruhe zu bewahren. Das passt ehrlicherweise ganz gut für dieses zweite Rennen am heutigen Tag. Natürlich, Fahrerinnen und Fahrer haben sich jetzt schon total eingestimmt auf dieses Rennwochenende. Die Bedingungen sind astrein, über 18 Grad, Sonnenschein, leichte windige Bedingungen, aber sehr herrlich. So small clouds here and there, 18 degrees, and of course it's sunny, a bit windy as you can see. The perfect conditions for the second race of the day. Und gleich stellen wir euch noch den neuen Partner der Rennserie vor. We're going to feature the new partner of this series, but first of all, back to our commentators. Zurück zu unseren Kommentatoren.
Thank you, Christina. Great to have you on the grid and on the broadcast again for this one. Certainly looking forward to what we've got in store here. Like I said, reverse grids, always good fun. Plenty to think about here as we have the drivers that finished right at the front of the first race making their way through. and trying to get back up there for the second time of asking. I was asked on the Fan TV just earlier on today who I think we should keep an eye on here. And to be honest, we should keep an eye on Antonio Albacete, but I was more focused on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez earlier. There is the HVO 100% renewable fuel Total Energies fifth wheel on our trucks with the glorious shark fins. The director said that shot is just for me, but you can all enjoy it at home as well. I love these little shark fins. I think they're fantastic. There's a small amount of irony about them with the fact that in a lot of motorsport, in your prototypes, in Formula cars, when you get a shark fin, it's an aerodynamic aid to these cars. You know, there's a reason for it being there. And with the trucks, it's simply to show off the logo. It's very fun. Back to Christina.
Vielen Dank. Wir sind jetzt hier mit Martin Wohanka und er ist der Gründer und der CEO von Eurowag. Das ist der neue Partner der Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome, the second time on site. Er ist zum zweiten Mal wirklich auch bei einem Rennwochenende dabei. What kind of joy does that bring to you?
You know, it's fantastic to feel the vibe and energy of the people which have in mind trucking, you know, innovation and sustainability, you know. So I'm very pleased to be here with our team.
Man merkt natürlich, dass er begeistert ist, vor allen Dingen von der Innovation und der Nachhaltigkeit, die diese Rennserie bringt. Das ist wirklich eine der grünsten Rennserien. We've heard a lot of digitalization and sustainability during the season. Wir haben natürlich sehr viel zum Thema Digitalisierung und Nachhaltigkeit gehört in dieser Rennserie. How does Eurowag support that?
You know, we know that today, everyday struggle of the trucking companies is to manage the data. And that's what Eurowag have seen. And this is, for me, paradox that for decades, the problem is the same. So we decided to bring all the systems, all the data into one platform, Eurowag Office, and to make life much more simpler and much more rewarding, which has, by chance, but we are very pleased as well, effect on efficiency, lowering the carbon intensity and improving the planet.
Herr, gibt uns doch mal einen Einblick, dass natürlich sehr, sehr viel Daten auch gesammelt werden müssen. Das könnt ihr euch vorstellen, eine Bestellung geht raus und dann muss man schauen, wie es von A nach B geht. Und da werden Daten gesammelt. Es geht darum auch natürlich um die Effizienz der Fahrten, das alles zu überprüfen. Und Eurowag hat da ein System entwickelt und gesagt, wir verstehen gar nicht, warum da nicht vorher schon mal drauf geschaut worden ist. Denn wenn man das richtig gut strukturiert, dann sinkt man natürlich auch den Carbon-Dioxid-Ausschuss. Und insofern ist das auch sehr gut für die Zukunft gedacht. The partnership with the Goodyear FIA ETRC, how does that involve also the business side, and of course, what is that for kind of a partnership?
You know, Eurowag is pan-European player, but in some markets we are not that known, you know. So the partnership with organization which is doing such a fantastic things, which are bringing trucking into spotlight, you know, is something what we want to value. And of course, associated Eurowag brand with this place, you know, is something very important. And one thing which strikes me, you know, when I'm speaking to people, normal people, which have nothing to do with trucking, they still do not appreciate the importance and the size of trucking, you know. So events like that, you know, are super useful to bring it onto spotlight and show as well human side of it, you know, that we can have a fun and we can have a fantastic dialogue and exchange of the partners, people, suppliers, you know, great place to be.
Er sagt, das ist natürlich hier der beste Ort, da zu sein. Natürlich ist Eurowag ein paneuropäisches Unternehmen, aber sicherlich noch nicht so bekannt in sämtlichen Ländern. Dementsprechend ist diese Partnerschaft jetzt auch mit der Goodyear FIA ETRC sehr, sehr gut. Und vor allen Dingen sagt er auch, es geht auch darum, die Menschen dahinter kennenzulernen. Denn viele können sich immer noch nicht vorstellen, wie wichtig und nachhaltig natürlich auch das System sein kann, wenn man da auf die Straße mal schaut. Und vor allen Dingen geht es ja auch darum, die Leute dahinter kennenzulernen. From cleaner fuels to smart tools. So what is up there for the future?
You know, a future will be definitely a combination of many solutions. At first, we need to make sure that really tracking is efficient. Data flows on the right place, that routing, connecting suppliers and with the capacities is seamless, that there are not empty trucks, that routing is right, the driver is driving his truck right. And on the second hand, still truck will need energy. So to accelerate the path to low carbon alternatives like HVO or electric, you know, this is what Eurowag is standing for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Und wir bekommen gleich natürlich nochmal die internationalen Fans dazu und deswegen kurz der TV-Bumper. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome to the Eifel. Welcome to the Nürburgring. Race number 2, reverse grid time, meaning that one who finished on P8 is going to start from pole position, meaning lots of more action to come. Welcome to our worldwide fans. We appreciate that you're tuning in every time on our live streams, following us on our social streams, and of course, welcome you on head of TV spaces and up and there. We can see the fans lined up here directly at the Nürburgring. The atmosphere is absolutely great at the ETRC Truck Grand Prix, and also we like to welcome all the German fans. Also deswegen nochmal ein ganz großes Hallo an euch alle da draußen, die jetzt hier mit dabei seid. Ganz kurz vor diesem zweiten Rennen, und ihr seht es schon, die Trucks sind alle schon aufgereiht. As you can see, the trucks are lining up. Come on, we'll have a small talk with the pole setter right now, which is José Eduardo Rodrigues. And maybe you followed, hola, tudo bem? Maybe you followed, oder ihr habt doch das Programm von Lina auch verfolgt, und maybe you followed the program, the Fan TV program, and there was one question, because this is a family business. There's been Eduardo, José, and José Eduardo Rodrigues. We like to talk to you about the name, because everyone is getting switched it up because you have such a huge family tradition. So how do your friends call you?
My friends? Yeah. Eduardo Rodrigues, normal. It's a normal name.
So finally it's Eduardo, everyone, because we kind of mix it up sometimes. You're starting from pole position at this legendary truck at Nürburgring. What is important right now for you?
The important is stay in my position. I try to secure my position, and we'll see what's happening in the first corner, and then is game the positions. I don't know. It's difficult to think now.
Das Wichtigste wird natürlich total sein, erstmal diese Position zu halten. Dafür ist ein sehr guter Start immens wichtig, und sagt halt auch, danach muss man natürlich sich auf dieses Rennen einstellen. Das ist ein iberisches Duell hier gerade, so ein bisschen mit Albacete. It's an Iberic duel with Albacete. He's very much experienced. What do you expect? How is he going to attack you?
Sorry, I don't understand the question. I try to not touch in Antonio. It's a clean race, and we'll see what's happened. I tried not to disturb the Antonio.
Muito obrigada, Prazer. Also er sagt natürlich auch, am allerbesten ist es ja, wenn man gar nicht in die Quere kommt von Antonio Albacete, dann klappt es am allermeisten. Ansonsten muss er sich natürlich auf sein Rennen fokussieren. Aber ich glaube auch, das wird ein richtig spannendes Duell hier zwischen den beiden. It's going to be an absolute interesting duel in between those two, the Iberic duel here at the front row. Back to our commentators. Zurück zu unseren Kommentatoren.
Thank you, Christina. Great to be here for the second race of the weekend, second race of the day here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And we are really buzzing about this fight at the front of the pack. José Eduardo Rodrigues and Antonio Albacete. Antonio, basically, José Eduardo's mentor coming into this form of truck racing. José Eduardo has been very successful before the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but he has certainly done well in this series as well, winning the Chrome Championship last year and now moving up into the Titan category. He is certainly going to be one to watch here today. I think Lucas Hahn and Steffi Halm could both do great things. Norby will come through the pack as well, as he often does. So this is the circuit we're racing on this weekend. It's the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but not as we always know it. We don't go all the way down to the hairpin at the bottom end and then back up the Michael Schumacher S. That is reserved as the Mullenbach Schleife for all of the show trucks and the concert that's constantly going on this weekend as well. It's absolutely awesome, and it's a big, big party down there. But even still, the rest of the circuit is still nearly 2 minutes a lap as well. It's definitely not a short lap around here at the Nürburgring, and it is a very difficult one as well. You've got a lot of slow, tight and twisty corners, but you've also got some quick and long radius turns as well to think about. So setting up the vehicle for this sort of racetrack is not easy at all, and the teams certainly know that. We spoke this morning about John Newell changing his setup around and changing all the geometry of the suspension and all sorts, and it worked for him. He got a podium in the earlier race, but will that remain to be the pace for this second race? Let's go back down to the grid with Christina.
René Reinhardt fährt ja auf jeden Fall mit richtig gutem Pace jetzt hier gerade schon mit, aber Reverse Grid, das heißt auf jeden Fall noch mal ein bisschen mehr Action auf der Strecke. Wie bleibt man denn da ruhig und vor allen Dingen, wie schafft man es vor allen Dingen diesen ganzen Problemen auszuweichen?
Ja, versuchen ruhig zu bleiben, aber ich denke, jeder ist ein bisschen nervös, geht glaube ich allen gleich an der Stelle und ja, einfach versuchen jetzt einen kühlen Kopf zu bewahren, beim Start einen guten Start hinzubekommen und die erste Kurve vor allen Dingen, da auch vielleicht eine gute Linie. Und dann mal sehen, was geht. Ja, wir kämpfen gerade noch mit einem kleinen technischen Problem. Mit den Bremstemperaturen, die zeigt er gerade nicht an, der Truck. Das ist ein bisschen schwierig, weil es ein ganz wichtiges Element, durch die Temperaturen zu überwachen und immer wieder auch nachzujustieren mit dem Wasser und so. Und ich hoffe, die Ingenieure bekommen es noch hin bis zum Start.
Yeah, toi, toi, toi. A quick translation for the English fans. So he's right now dealing with minor issues about the temperature on the brakes. And as you can see, the engineering team is absolutely there to keep it going for this race. And also you need a cool head. I mean, not only cool brakes, but also a cool head. And you need to enter the first turn very, very bravely. Grundsätzlich, wie ist das Erlebnis bislang eigentlich schon? Das ist jetzt heute schon das zweite Rennen an diesem Tag. Du siehst es, die Fans sind da und es ist einfach wieder großartig hier zu sein, oder?
Das erste Rennen war schon ganz gut, glaube ich, da gut im 5. Platz gestartet und im 5. Platz ins Ziel gekommen. Aber trotzdem da auch mit Steffi einen guten Zweikämpfer gehabt, das war schon ganz okay. Und ja, Nürburgring ist immer ein Riesen-Event, macht einen Riesenspaß hier vor diesen vollen Kulissen zu fahren. Und wenn man hier schaut auf die Tribünen, alles voll, das ist super. Ja, danke an alle Fans, die hergekommen sind.
Ja, das können wir nur unterstützen. Danke an euch, an alle Fans. Deswegen mal einen großen Applaus für euch selber jetzt hier gerade. Big applause to all the fans here on site and also the worldwide viewers. And of course he's saying, yeah, there has been a great battle with Steffi Halm at the first race. We're trying to go now for the second race.
Yeah, René certainly looking forward to some big points from this second race of the day. He's currently 4th in the championship on 86 points. He's only 8 points behind Steffi as well. But what's important to remember here with the points in race 2 of the day is that the system is completely different. So in the first race, you get 20 points for a win, then it's 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 41. But in the second race, it's simply just 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So sometimes you will see drivers backing out of having a fight to take the overall race victory. It'll simply just be down to an individual point that they will hold position, and there's not a massive amount of benefit for fighting through and giving everything to gain that extra place. We have on track now the Ford F-Max, May Fisher behind the wheel. This Ford F-Max is the International Truck of the Year from 2019, and it was designed and tested by 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period, and the tests themselves were carried out in 11 countries and 4 continents using over 200 prototype units. This resulted in a user-friendly truck that from the moment of its debut became a very strong competitor in the market, and we're delighted to have Ford Trucks on board as a partner for the series again in 2025. They've been a long-time supporter of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and as I say, we are very grateful to have them on a long list of partners that we have here in the series. So as you can see, everybody now clearing the grid to get this second race underway. The grandstand's full on the right-hand side. Look at the balcony there on top of the pit lane. Absolutely rammed with spectators all the way down. And it's great to see, especially out of the window here in the office as well, actually. I'm in an office this time round instead of one of the production trailers. I have a lovely view of the start-finish line out of the window. I'm just the other side of that huge BMW bridge you see on the right-hand side there. So at the moment, there's only a few people left on the grid. Our flag bearers make their way off. And there's just 1 or 2 members of the FIA technical delegates that are there, ready to get moving. And you can see at the front of the field there our Iveco pace truck, the Iveco SE-Way. And the thumbs up is given by the ADAC marshal. Franz even bursting into a run there, actually, down the pit lane. Oh, sorry, down the start-finish straight. You can see the heat rising, though. You can see the heat haze. And that's not just from the engines either. The surface itself is very hot out there. Every railing, every wall that you walk along, you can feel the heat radiating off it here at the Nürburgring. It was only supposed to be around 18, 19 degrees today. but it's absolutely boiling. It's very lovely weather at the moment. And we get the formation lap underway then. So we'll go through the grid and let you know exactly where these guys will be starting, because it's always interesting to see the reverse grid. You have to think about things in a completely different order than we normally do. But it's an interesting front row, that's for sure. The mentor and the student, so to speak, all of which taking place behind this gorgeous Iveco S-E-Way pace truck. It's a fully electric truck, and it's standing in for the bio-LNG truck that we so often use in the championship. And it's as part of our partnership with Iveco that we have these wonderful trucks. Iveco, of course, being one of the main players in the global transport sector. They've established a global presence on the world stage as a manufacturer and commercial provider, and they are a huge part of the most important industrialized countries and emerging markets alike. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Antonio Albacete then make up the front row. Both of them will be fighting for points. Both of them need them. Same too with Sascha Lenz, actually. He's going to have to keep a close eye on René Reinert from that second row of the grid and try and hold him off for as long as possible. Steffi Halm and Lucas Hahn will definitely be knocking on the door with the Ivecos. They have been rapid this weekend. We also then have Jochen Hahn, Norbert Kisch, of course, first and second in the first race, 7th and 8th on the grid for this race. We then have Mark Taylor and John Newell alongside one another. And then on the 6th row, Stefan Faas and Bradley Smith will line up alongside one another. And we have Stefan Kirsch and Louis Requenco. Both of them were involved in some pretty intense fights in the earlier race. They'll be hoping for a lot of fun in this one. Clemens Hecker will start from 15th place. I'm not sure if he got a penalty after the earlier race, actually. I'll have to check into that, because he was finished on the road ahead of Stefan Kirsch, actually. Christian Ruppert was next up. I finally met Christian in person for the first time just before the autograph session earlier. It was lovely to see him. He's such an enthusiastic man about his racing. He really does love it. And it's great to have him on the grid. I can tell you, actually, there was a 10-second penalty for Bradley Smith for overspeeding. So that dropped him behind Stefan Faas and a few other drivers earlier on. Clemens Hecker is actually shown as 6th place in the Chrome class earlier on. So not quite sure if there was an amended result after that. But he was, still classified ahead of Stefan Kirsch. So I'm confused as to why he is now at the back of the grid, but we'll see. Across the start-finish line they go. The lights go out, and race number 2 of the day is underway in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And look at Antonio Albacete all the way over to the right-hand side. He's already cleared Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. He definitely needed to do that, and he's certainly done the job soon. Great stuff from Antonio. Jose Eduardo tucks into the inside, trying not to make contact with René Reinert. He tries to squeeze in as well. René's got a great run around the outside. Look at Norbert Kisch as well, down the inside of Jochen Hahn. Looks like Lucas Hahn there is making a few friends in the middle of the field. A bit of contact with Sascha Lenz. That's actually helped Norbert Kisch go through. And, well, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has been absolutely swarmed, although Steffi Halm locks up on the brakes. Big contact side to side. René Reinert up into second position now. They need to be careful with the weight transfers. They go left to right. Great start for Clemens Hecker. He's gained a few places already, as there's a little bit of argy-bargy in the background as well. That is Steffi Halm, 4th position, trying to hold off just about everybody else behind as well. Norbert Kisch wants in, Sascha Lenz wants in as well. All of them wanting to get past Lucas Hahn. He's going to try his best to hold up the field for Jochen to try and get through. There's more contact between Stefan Kirsch and Clemens Hecker. Flipping out, these guys are just going to have to look at wedding venues soon. They're getting that friendly. We've got Louis Requenco now on the outside of Clemens as well. Hopefully no contact there. Luke Garrett wants in on it as well. Very tough stuff in the opening lap here. Sascha Lenz side by side with Norbert Kisch, but at the front it's Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Steffi Halm, the top 4. And then this absolute quabble down towards the chicane. Squabble is the word, Chaz, not quabble. As Norby's gone for it down the inside of Lucas Hahn, says have some of that. Sasha Lenz is in the mix as well. Oh dearie me, I think Norby felt that he had to make moves sooner rather than later, but he put them in a bit of a treacherous situation. John Newell having a bit of contact there as well. Lucas Hahn won't have liked that one. He's now stuck in this with Stefan Fast side by side, and that's interesting because that's for the Chrome battle as well. That puts Mark Taylor in the lead of the Chrome class. So across the line, breathe in, it's Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Steffi Halm, Jochen Hahn, then Sasha Lenz, not Sasha Lenz, Norbert Kish, then Sasha Lenz, Mark Taylor, Lucas Hahn and Stefan Fast completing the top 10. John Newell and Bradley Smith side by side in the background there. Bradley, like I say, dropping down the order in the earlier results, so we'll have to take a look at how those points end up, as Jochen Hahn, I think, has given the position to Norbert Kish there because he went straight over the chicane and he was behind Norby before that, so Jochen lets him go. He wants to avoid getting a penalty for gaining any sort of advantage, but it was uncharacteristic that by Norby actually to put his nose down the inside there and make that move. Very intriguing to see that, and yes, it is under investigation as expected. Not surprised at that one, to be honest. But we'll see how that plays out later on in the race. I was just looking at Bradley Smith, by the way, after his earlier penalty, and he actually finished behind Stefan Fast on the road anyway, then got a 10-second penalty which didn't drop him any positions, so his championship points actually remain the same after that earlier race. And the incident has been reported to the stewards, so the stewards will be looking over that one and they will be trying to figure it all out and see what the outcome is. We will have to wait with bated breath, but well, Antonio Albacete leads the race at the moment. He'll be very happy to do so, but he's got René Reinert, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Steffi Halm all right behind him. And they will not take no for an answer. René Reinert has a second place and a first place to his name this season. He wants another one. Oh no, Clemens Hecker off the road and stopped over on the right-hand side. They've had no end of problems this weekend with this truck. As I said in the earlier broadcast, I was speaking to Hans Mollenhoff in the pit lane during the warm-up, and he said that they had a boost pressure issue yesterday, and that is going to drop Clemens Hecker right to the back of the field. I wonder if the truck is far enough out of the way that we don't need to sort of neutralise the race in any way. He's done a good job to get it all the way over there. He's not done the sometimes selfish thing that you can see drivers do, where they park it close to the circuit just to neutralise the race, but he is way out of the way over on the right-hand side. I think that might be okay, you know. I don't think it's red flag or even yellow flag worthy. It's nothing to do with the circuit. It's that far away. But that is a humongous, humongous shame for Clemens Hecker. I was just looking at Antonio Albacete's record for this season. He's only got one podium finish, and that was in race 3 back at Misano. This is effectively the 14th race of the season, but we've had 2 cancelled so far, so this would be round 12. But Antonio certainly needs points. He may take these points in the race 2 of the day, but at the end of the day, he's scoring more points than the others around him. I know that Tim Frost, I Love Truck Racing t-shirt or not, will be hoping for a great result, because they've had rotten luck at the start of the year. They've had all sorts of incidents, technical issues and so on, but they still push on. And right now the field nicely spread at the moment. Stefan Kirsch has got a little bit of company there in the form of Louis Requenco. There's a bit of bodywork hanging off Steffi Halm's truck there, the number 44. That was due to the earlier incident, I think, with Norbert Kish. There's Mark Taylor. Now he leads in the Chrome class here. Sorry, no, he doesn't actually. Does Lucas? Yeah, Lucas Hahn is just in front of these guys. So Lucas has gotten through. But Mark Taylor, second in class, wanting to hold on to that ahead of Stefan Fast. Because at the moment, with where Mark is, in second position in class with Bradley Smith in 5th. Just going to have a quick look at the points system. Well, Mark would get 9 points for this and Bradley would get 6. So it would give him another few points over Bradley in the Chrome Championship, and that would take the gap down to, I can't do maths, 4 points, just 4 points between the two, with 2 more races left to go this weekend. Steffi Halm then having to defend from Norbert Kish. We saw them battle back at the Slovakia ring earlier in the season. You can hear now the tyres skipping along as the trucks get onto the brakes into there and they dive into that braking zone. The rear wheels sort of skip like skipping stones across the ground, and it sounds absolutely bonkers, but they are very much in control. It sounds like they're very much out of control, but that's not the case. But Norby wants to progress quickly here. I think that's the reason for the move that he made earlier on. Apparently, the number 11, Bradley Smith, is already under investigation for his 3rd penalty marker. He was under investigation and got a 10-second penalty in race 1 for speeding. And now he's under investigation for a penalty marker. Now that can be a drive-through penalty. So if he gets that, that'll really throw him down the order as Norbert Kish throws the move down the inside, let alone throws down the order. But look at that by Steffi Halm. Great cutback, but look at the traction off the corner by Norbert Kish. I think Steffi might have missed a gear or something there. She got a horrible run off the corner. And now Jochen Hahn out of nowhere is suddenly attacking Norby. He makes a move and looks down the inside. The pair of them are right together as they come across the start-finish line. There's black and white flags and corner marker warnings going out all over the place on the start-finish straight. There's a gentleman with a black and white flag in the background there waving it, and all the numbers are being handed out. Look at this. Norby runs Jochen all the way over to the right-hand side. Jochen still wants to come down the inside on the brakes. There's a little bit of a tap. Sends him forward into the first corner, and it nearly gets out of hand there. But Norby tried absolutely everything there to keep Jochen at bay, and he does it for now. Good fighting though between these guys. It's great to see them battle together on the circuit like this. They've got utmost respect for each other off the circuit. On track they are fierce competitors with one another. It's good fun to watch though, isn't it? The pair of them going head to head on the circuit. 6 championships apiece for these two. Norbert Kish currently on an amazing run of 4 in a row. He previously won 2 championships back to back, had a few years away from winning titles, and then with reverse racing has just been pretty much unstoppable. Jochen Hahn and Team Hahn Racing have been amazing as well. Managed to quickly catch up with Diana Hahn after the first race. She was very pleased having her husband and her son on the podium. How cool is that? Both of them together. She had a massive smile on her face, and who can blame her? We've had a penalty marker warning for Stefan Faas. He's had his first warning for that, so they're certainly being thrown around, but at the end of the day, these penalty markers are there to enforce the track limits, and the drivers are pushing their luck a little bit, it's safe to say. We're just getting to about halfway, and I've noticed now that Albacetti is not getting away from René Reinert. René really closing in on him, if anything. Now have a look at the lap times that they did last time round. And yeah, René was 0.6 of a second quicker than Antonio. In fact, Antonio was the slowest truck in the top 5. So everybody closing in on him. 1:55.0 by Norbert Kish. That's a really, really fast lap time. René Reinert 1:55.2 on a great run up the order, powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel, of course, on his way up to the sharp end of the pack. Norbert Kish finds himself in 4th place at the moment, wanting to make more progress. The incident between Norby, Sasha and Lucas is under investigation. But right now, Antonio Albacetti, well, he probably ripped the rear view mirror off and thrown it out of the window at this stage. He doesn't want to see René Reinert sat there. He just wants to, well, he's going to be hoping that, for lack of better words, he just goes away. But René, I believe, had a nap between races. We went to try and find him for a quick chat, and apparently he was sleeping, so maybe he's more recharged and cracking on here, wide awake. Right up behind Antonio. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez hasn't quite matched their pace over the last few laps. He was 0.4 slower on the last circulation. We'll see what it's like this time round, because Antonio, as you can see, pushing the limits there. The Spaniard is really trying hard.
Bei der nächsten Durchfahrt an Start und ziehen. Man ganz, ganz
And across the start-finish line, again they go. All the way down the start-finish straight. Full gas, as they say. Completely flat to the mat. Up to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour. And then hard onto the brakes into turn one. It is a massively difficult braking zone, that first corner. And as you can see, Norbert Kish already right up behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now. And Jose Eduardo is going to have to get his elbows out here and work hard to hold back the reigning champion. And to be fair, if Antonio gets caught by René Reinert anymore, he'll have to be careful as well and get his elbows out to hold René back. René is the only other driver to win a race this season other than Norbert Kish. Norby, completely inevitable though in these races, these reverse grid races. He just flies through the pack. It's incredible. Jochen Hahn is definitely not out of the picture either though. He's trying. And at the moment, it's the top five breaking away from the rest of the field. Steffi Halm not quite sticking with this lead quintet, but on this lap, Antonio Albacete looks like he's really turned the wick up a bit there. On the previous lap, he was slower than René Reinert by 0.2 of a second, but he's opened the gap up now. It was about 0.6 earlier. Now it's just over a second. Across the line once again then. 7 laps completed here at the Nürburgring in race number 2 of the day. And Norbert Kish can smell a podium at least. He's not been on any other podium step other than the top one so far this season. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez doing his best to defend and put the truck in the right place at the right time, but Norby is so good on the brakes and so good out of the corner as well. The traction, the way that Baloo Jr. gets the power down is just amazing. Baloo Jr. being the name of the truck. Watch him on the brakes here, looks down the inside, sends Jose Eduardo into a defensive manoeuvre. Portuguese driver parks it well on the apex, gets it in the right place. Great bit of driving. And still look, Norby coming around the inside now, says thank you very much, puts his nose in. They remain side by side. Can he get the run off the corner? Of course he can. Does he completely clear him? Yes he does. Norbert Kish up into 3rd place. Beautiful manoeuvre. Exactly the calibre of move that we'd expect from the champ. And that was absolutely marvellous. He needs to try and do his best now to break away because he knows how fast Jose Eduardo is, and he also knows that Jochen Hahn is sat right behind as well, wanting a piece of the action. These guys all fighting within the top 5. In the Chrome class, it's still Lucas Hahn leading, Mark Taylor 2nd, Stefan Faas in 3rd. John Newell not too far behind those guys, but it's still a few seconds. So John will need those guys to have a few scruffy last laps, to say the least. No further investigation on Bradley Smith, by the look of it, for his 3rd penalty marker. We've had a 2nd penalty marker hit by John Newell, and a 3rd FIA 3-star, I could have said that so much better, a 3rd star of environmental accreditation awarded to the FIA, or to the championship I should say, by the FIA. I've really mucked that one up, haven't I? Basically the championship's got an FIA 3-star environmental accreditation, and they have worked so hard to get that over the last couple of years, and it's great for the series to be recognised for such an achievement and to be given that accreditation by the FIA as well. And we're delighted to have in the paddock as well teams that have their own FIA environmental accreditations too. T-Sport Burnau doing amazing things for the sustainability of not just this championship, but truck racing all over the globe. And they too have been recognised by the FIA with one of those stars. So then, only a couple more laps to go here, and the top 5 is getting closer and closer together. All of them separated by under 4 seconds at present, and there's only 0.7 of a second between the top 2. Antonio Albacete leads this race as we look at Jochen Hahn trying a move on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Gives him a little bump. It's a good thing the bumper bar's there. Let's not bend the fiberglass, boys. But Antonio Albacete leads this race with 2 of Norbert Kisch's trucks behind him. René Reiner in Baloo Senior, Norby in Baloo Junior. 2 wonderful big blue and red MANs, both in the same team this season as well, actually. They're both racing together under Revage Reiner Racing. And, well, Norby and Albacete used to be teammates. It was always Revage and T-Sport, but with the sale of that truck to René, they became teammates for the 2025 season. Let's see what they've got in the bag. So Antonio crosses the line then. 156.066 for him. 155.6 for René Reiner. And a 154.7 for Norbert Kisch. That is a rapid lap time. Jochen Hahn has gotten ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez as well for 4th position. As we look now at Bradley Smith fighting his countryman John Newell. The 2 of them have raced together a lot in the British Championship, and now they've come over to Europe to show everybody what they've got. John racing under his own team, NWT. Bradley racing for Don't Touch Racing, who had Andre Curzin behind the wheel of their trucks for so many years. It's been lovely to see Andre actually still in the paddock. He's working with T-Sport Bernau now. And I asked him the obvious question of, you know, when will we see you back on track? And he hopes soon. But nothing in concrete just yet. But either way, I know that everyone in the paddock will welcome him back in open arms, or with open arms, I should say, back to the circuit. It'll be great to see Andre back competing again. But like I say, it's also wonderful that he's still a part of the championship and helping out teams that he's raced against for years as well. So we're on lap 10 here at the Nürburgring. Still 2 laps to go, and this trio at the front is getting closer and closer. I wonder if there will be any form of, not quite team orders between René Reiner and Norbert Kisch here, but I wonder whether René will see the big red Revage machine behind him and go, you know what, son, through you go, have some free room. Or we'll see whether Norby has to force the issue here and fight with his teammate. He moves to the outside to tighten up the corner slightly. That'll help his run off the corner on the exit, and they head across the start-finish line here. And look out the window now as they fly past. It's Antonio leading the way. Norby moves to the right slightly, just to get out of that hot air behind him. They both hit 100 miles an hour, and they have to keep the truck underneath that to make sure they don't get any penalties of any kind. And he slots back in behind. But look, he's taking a later apex into that first hairpin to maximise the run off it. Doesn't quite work this time round, but this Mercedes-Benz Arena is great for this sort of racing because you can very quickly go one way and then the other and cut back. Watch Norbert on the brakes here. He'll probably throw it to the left-hand side. No, brakes a little bit earlier. Make sure that he just gives himself a few options. And I think that Antonio will be really pleased to see this fight behind them, because René and Norby are holding each other up with a bit of this. If René goes defensive and Norby goes a little bit overly offensive, then the 2 will lose lap time naturally. That's how this goes. But Albacete will be watching the mirrors, that's for sure. Nice tidy stuff by René Reiner at the moment. He's always been a fast driver. Oh, that's an interesting penalty there. Sascha Lenz getting 5 seconds for causing a collision. And with no disrespect to any other drivers involved, I would have thought that Sascha was the only one with nowhere to go, really. But that'll be that. 5-second penalty given to Sascha, which is enough to drop him behind Lucas Hahn as well, actually. That'll drop him to 8th position. That'll promote Lucas up 1 spot. Lucas hasn't since really recovered from that incident. He's just remained in the lower reaches of the top 10. 1 more lap to go then for Antonio Albacete. He comes out the final chicane. René Reiner hangs the back end out slightly there. Norbert Kisch hasn't quite been able to get through. I wonder if Norby will get the message from Chabo Bacco to say, just wind it back a bit. Let René have 2nd, mate. You've got plenty of points. 8 points coming your way if you finish in 3rd. But we all know Norby, and we know how much of a perfectionist he is. He wants to chase those big numbers and chase those records. he will still win this race if he can. Albacete leads it then. René Reinert looking menacing on the way into the brakes, or into the braking zone. There's nothing else that they can do to power past one another. This might be a big move on the brakes here from Norbert Kish. Let's see. Now he backs out of that one. René really closing up in the chicane. Antonio just needs one more tidy corner. Looks like he's got a safe run out of the chicane. Hard onto the brakes once more. Nice and smooth. Norbert Kish mounts one more attack out of the last corner. But it's going to be a very popular and well-received win for Antonio Albacete. The Spaniard takes the win here at the Nürburgring. What a drive that was. René Reinert right behind. Norbert Kish takes third place. Jochen Hahn finishes in fourth. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will complete the top five. And Steffi Halm comes home in sixth place. Lucas Hahn will take the win in the Chrome class once again. He'll be classified ahead of Sascha Lenz due to Sascha's podium. And second in Chrome will go to Mark Taylor. Third going the way of Stefan Faas. But there is your race winner, Antonio Albacete, everybody. He's still got it. He's still got it. So many years in truck racing, and he can still take race victories. I'm sure you can hear the smile on my face. There's no denying I'm a big fan of Antonio. He's a lovely, lovely gentleman. And T-Sport Bernau and Tim Frost, Melanie as well, the whole squad do an amazing job. And after such a difficult start to the season, it's lovely to see them get that. Really lovely to see that result go their way. Everybody now completing the race. As Christian Ruppert, you could see in the background there, is just crossing the line. Yeah, Lucas Hahn, I can tell you, is classified ahead of Sascha Lenz. And now the whole field, look at that, really close together, all coasting their way back in. A huge shame, though, to lose Clemens Hecker from that race. Not sure what happened there. Obviously, I've got the benefit of being able to go and speak to them a little bit later on and see what the issue was. You can hear the drifting going on in the background. But a great win that by Antonio Albacete. He had to work hard there to hold on. René Reinert and Norbert Kish were not going to hold back at all. And there is your Chrome winner, Lucas Hahn, taking the victory from Mark Taylor in second place, Stefan Faas in third. Some more silverware for his team. John Newell was next up in Chrome ahead of Bradley Smith, then Louis Requenco, Luke Garrett, Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert. A non-finish though for Clemens Hecker. Big shame, that one. And looking at the championship standings, that's their second DNF for the season. Let's have a look then at the confirmed results, shall we? Antonio Albacete, 12 laps completed, takes his first win of 2025. René Reinert finishes in second place, and look at that with Norbert Kish third. The top three separated by less than a second. Brilliant stuff. Jochen Hahn finishes in fourth after a bit of a bruising encounter, with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still fifth after starting on pole. Not a bad result for the Portuguese driver. Stephanie Halm finished in sixth place ahead of Lucas Hahn, with the 5-second penalty applied. Behind him was Sascha Lenz. Next up was Mark Taylor in ninth, and 10th place going the way of Stefan Faas. John Newell, Bradley Smith, Louis Requenco, Luke Garrett, Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert complete the field, with one non-finisher being the aforementioned Clemens Hecker. Certainly helped out Mark Taylor in the Chrome Championship as well. He's now just 4 points behind Bradley Smith. Bradley on 131, Mark on 127. And to be fair, with John Newell finishing in fourth and Clemens Hecker not finishing, John Newell now moves up into third in the Chrome Championship as well. 3 points clear. Louis Requenco has got Stefan Faas right on his heels now. 75 points to Requenco, 70 to Stefan. That will help Antonio in the overall championship as well. He's just 3 points behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now on 57 points. Steffi Halm just 4 points ahead of René Reinert. René's having a great season so far. It's so lovely to see him back, but it's great to see him back and on form as well. He's absolutely flying. I finally got a chance to meet him and catch up with him earlier on, and it was great to see just how enthusiastic he is about it, and he's all about perfecting the tiny details throughout the entirety of the championship. We wait now, though, for the door to open on the MAN. There's Franz from the FIA, just checking everything over. And there is, I'm sure, the first man to congratulate him, Tim Frost. Antonio seems quite chilled out, actually, quite relaxed behind the wheel there. Tim gives him a good well done. And it's been a difficult start to the season for him and the team. That one will mean a lot, definitely. They've needed that one. Stefan Honen's there giving Tim a bit of a pinch on the arm. And a quick debrief, I should say, from Antonio. Little thumbs over, there's the smile. Cracks a smile at least. He and the team will be buzzing with that, as you can see. There's Casino there to congratulate him with a big hug as well. Fantastic stuff. And René Reinert as well, second place, another podium, congratulated by his wife. I think little one's gone to the loo. I think that's what she's saying. He's not quite back in time. But he gives big handshakes to the team. Casino as well over there to thank him and congratulate him. And Norbert Kisch has a chilled debrief with Csaba. Csaba, I'm sure, will be happy with that. Like I said, when we spoke to him, he knows that Norby would go on to try and win every single race he can. But to be fair, with third place, he shouldn't be too disappointed. I think Csaba will be just happy that the truck came home in one piece and they got some big championship points over the likes of Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm as well. And they were only 1 point behind René Reinert, their teammate. But at the moment, Norby has now, let me just check the maths on here, a 45-point lead in the championship. He's then 84 points clear of Steffi Halm and 88 clear of René Reinert. So a solid advantage on all accounts for Norbert Kisch as we near the halfway point of the season. Once this race weekend is finished here at the Nürburgring, we'll be at the halfway point. We then move on to Most in Czechia, fantastic circuit in Most. Then we go to Zolder in Belgium. And in the same month, we go to Le Mans in France on the Bugatti circuit. And then, as always, we round out the championship at Jarama. And another 32 race season. It's great to be back to 8 race meetings in a season. Well, it'll be 30 in the end, as we had the last race at the Lausitz Ring and the Slovakia Ring, unfortunately, called off due to similar conditions. But it's been a nice busy start to the weekend here at the Nürburgring. And we have 2 wins in the Chrome class for Lucas Hahn so far. Stefan Faas gets a podium. 2 podiums for Mark Taylor. And John Newell has a 3rd and a 4th. That's an impressive setup, isn't it? Very impressive setup of tents there, actually, to stay out of the sun. Could do with a little bit of that myself. I don't get much protection from the sun now with thinning hair on top. But what a great race. Great fun. And at the end of the day, we know that these reverse grid races can get very busy, but it's nice that a lot of the action was clean. There was a little bit of contact here and there as Norbert Kisch, Sascha Lenz and Lucas Hahn went 3 wide in the early stages. And we'll hand down to Christina, who is there in the pit lane to catch all the action, or maybe in the shuttle.
Wir sind hier gerade im VIP-Shuttle, the VIP-Shuttle, Antonia Bathete. Congratulations, Norbert Kisch waving there from the back seat. Unusual picture, to be honest, waving from the back, but just kidding. Antonio, congratulations. It's been a tough season so far. What does that victory mean to you?
Yeah, it's been a tough season, so at least we can finish one race without problems, and winning is very good. We would like to win one of the first races, but now this year is going to be difficult, so we will try to take as much as points as we can from now on and see if the bad luck is gone.
Sagt natürlich, war es bis dahin eine schwierige Saison, hat ein bisschen Pech gehabt. Dementsprechend wünscht er sich vielleicht auch noch mal einen Sieg nach dem ersten Rennen. Da gibt es ein paar Pünktchen mehr. Wir gucken noch mal, wir haben noch Empfang hier. René, hat es geklappt mit dem Kühlungssystem der Bremsen dann?
Nee, hat nicht geklappt. Aber ging trotzdem. Ohne Temperaturanzeige.
Das ist ja schon mal stark. Also, wir schalten jetzt mal zu unseren Kommentatoren und dann hören wir uns gleich wieder.
Thank you, Christina. Great to hear from Antonio. And like you said, that race victory will mean a lot. And they've had a lot of problems with the truck to start the campaign and incidents and all sorts. So it's been lovely to see that he's been able to pull through. And again, as he mentioned, winning the first race of the day secures you a lot more points. The qualifying and the order that you start that race is more on merit based on your pace rather than where you finish race one. But as I said to him, you've got to play the game a little bit. Let's have a look at some highlights, though, shall we, from the second race of the day here at the Nürburgring. We were absolutely buzzing about the prospect of having Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Antonio Albacete sharing the front row of the grid with one another, mentor and the student, so to speak. And they gave us a great start to the race, actually, with Antonio taking the lead before they even got into the first corner. Cutting across over on the right-hand side, he was defending hard from the likes of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reinert. Sasha Lenz wanted in on it as well, and Norbert Kish made a move down the inside where Sasha and Lucas then made contact, and everybody else had to try and shuffle their way around. We saw good sportsmanship from Jochen Hahn. He knew that he cut the chicane and gained an advantage, so he gave that back. Unfortunate to see Clemens Hecker off at the side of the road. We'll go and find out what the issues are with the truck a little bit later, and then hopefully they'll have that fixed and ready to go for tomorrow. Norbert Kish made great progress through the order again, having to hold off Jochen Hahn for his position, while Antonio Albacete led the way. We saw a good battle between Norby and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. The Portuguese driver would eventually finish in 5th position, but there was lots of fun up at the sharp end as René Reinert pursued the Spaniard all the way to the end. Ultimately, though, he and Norby would not do enough to get through, and Antonio Albacete would go on to take his first race victory of 2025, one that has been a long time coming after a very tough start to the year. More big points for René Reinert, though, and of course Norbert Kish in the overall championship. They'll be making their way up onto the podium in just a moment's time. A beautifully situated podium as well over in the fan village, but also perfectly placed for our camera to pick it up from long distance here between the trees. There's lots of fun to be had here at the Nürburgring, though. There's plenty going on for the remainder of the afternoon. There are the GT Masters racing with us this weekend. And we also have the Dutch Truck Racing Championship as well. Let's go back to Christina.
We have arrived and trying to open the door, René Reinert, onto the podium. How is going to be the experience? Wie ist es, wir kommen hier erstmal nicht raus. Das ist aber herrlich. Da steigt er schon aus. Schnell Kindersicherung. We tried to help Norbert Kish also, having fun then on the podium. Get out. Good race, everyone.
Thank you.
Und dann wünschen wir euch erstmal viel Spaß bei der Übertragung gleich. Ciao.
Scheiße.
I'm sure that many of you, like me, even if you don't speak German, you all know what that final word was there. As they make their way then up onto the podium. Hopefully René finds his way up onto the podium better than he finds his way out of the shuttle. And he will celebrate with everyone. I believe you can see Barbara there making her way onto the podium. She's the head of communications for the ETRA, taking some wonderful pictures of all the crowd gathering around the podium with the champagne and the trophies, which will be up there soon. And everybody will be presented with their top 3. We'll have the top 3 overall, 3rd, 2nd, then 1st, and then we will have the Chrome class 3rd, 2nd, and 1st as well. Which means that somehow, in some form, Norby is still first because he'll be the first person to walk up onto the podium. And he will collect his first trophy this season that hasn't been for a race win. It's the first time that Norby's been on the podium in 2025 and not been a race winner. The only other time he didn't win a race was round 6 of the championship at the Lausitzring, where he finished 6th. It was his teammate, René Reinert, that won that race. We now just wait for them to make their way up. They should be there any moment now. And here you go then, with EB, Joachim EB Eberts, announcing them. There he is. Oh, there he goes. The man himself. EB, he's a bit of a legend around these parts.
Congratulations, Norbert Kish!
And first up onto the podium will be Norbert Kish with a round of applause.
Auf der zweiten Position Der
And there
Comebacker
he is
der
waving to the
Saison
crowd.
mit der Startnummer 77, zweiter Platz. Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Second place going the way of his teammate René Reinert. That's his second place finish of the season. Third podium for him overall since returning to the championship.
Einige Wochenenden Bad Luck, heute luckiest
And a big
man.
handshake from the two teammates.
Félicitations, Antonio
I know they're classified as
Albacete.
titans, but they are absolute titans for this championship.
Die Pokale werden
And there, a
überreicht
great
von Rudi
reception for
Speich, dem
Antonio
Vorsitzenden
Albacete, and a
des
big
ADAC
smile
Mittelrhein.
on the Spaniard's
Für den
face.
Drittplatzierten.
I think
Herzlichen
it'll all
Glückwunsch.
sink in. He's won more
Norbert
races than I've had
Kish.
hot dinners as Antonio Albacete, but I think this one will sink in a little bit now he sees the crowd. Norbert Kish
Geht an
has his
Reinhard
trophy
Nummer 77,
presented to him by, I believe it's Martin Vohanka that is doing the trophies here. We should have Rudy as well doing the trophies later, Rudy Spike.
Antonio Albacete.
And there you go. First place for Antonio Albacete, and a big cheer for him and the team. And now we will have the Spanish national anthem for our race-winning driver.
Meine Damen und Herren, nochmal einen Riesenapplaus.
And the drivers
für Big Hand,
pop their hats
für
back on.
Antonio Albacete, René Reinhardt
And they will
und
now
Norbert
pose for some
Kish.
pictures on the top step. Then they will do the traditional changing of the caps.
Gentlemen, change your caps, please.
There they are then, changing the hats over to their own branded merchandise, let's say. The Goodyear hats are wonderful, though. I've been lucky enough to end up with a pair of them in my time commentating on the championship. Now, lovely mementos from a weekend. And here we go then. They know they've got the dry cleaning overnight, so I think Antonio's about to get drenched. And yes, he is, by René Reinert and Norbert Kish. He deserves that one. A champagne shower for Antonio Albacete. Still getting soaked by Norbert Kish. It's only when it goes in your eyes that it's a problem. Oh, he's poured it down his back and all over his head. Fantastic fun. Great stuff. It honestly is one of my favourite parts of the weekend is the champagne fights they have on the podium. There's so much camaraderie just spills out of the drivers. Here's the points then and my opportunity to check my maths. Norbert Kish leads the championship on 183 points. Rearrange those numbers and you get Jochen Hahn's 138 points. Steffi Halm on 99, just 4 ahead of René Reinert, with Sasha Lenz next up ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Antonio Albacete now has 57. Mark Taylor moves 1 point ahead of Bradley Smith, 29 and 28 to each of them, with Clemens Hecker having 24 to his name, still inside the top 10. Stefan Faas is next on 17, ahead of Lucas Hahn, who's already amassed 16 points in just 2 races. John Newell on 9. Jonathan Andre and Louis Requenco, I always get that one wrong, I'm so sorry, Louis, 7 points each. Luke Garrett on 2 points. Stefan Kirsch and Christian Ruppert yet to score top 10s overall this season. We now move on to the Chrome podium, where the drivers are welcomed up by EB once again. The first of which will take his 4th podium appearance of the championship. He's got a lot of fans here. Has Stefan Faas. He and the Tank Pool 24 team throwing a fantastic party down the hill in the Mullenbach Schleife. And you can see the team there cheering for him, arms in the air, big round of applause. And Stefan takes 3rd place here on home turf. 2nd place for the 2nd time today will go the way of Mark Taylor. More big championship points for them. Like I've said, just 4 points off the back of Bradley Smith now in that battle for the lead. A big handshake to his competitor, Stefan. He was having to hold him off quite a bit there, was Mark. He was checking the mirrors for sure. But what about this man, Lucas Hahn? He had an overall podium earlier on today, and now he takes his second chrome podium of the day as well. And again, another big smile on the young lad's face.
A new partner of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship.
And I believe we have a change in who is giving out the trophies here. I announced Martin Vahanka earlier on, but I can tell you that it's not Martin Vahanka.
Congratulations to Mark Taylor.
Either way, the drivers reving their trophies. Mark Taylor gets his second place trophy, Stefan Faas for third, and first place going the way of Lucas Hahn. A huge cheer for Lucas, and the German national anthem will echo through the circuit.
Nochmal einen Riesenapplaus für alle drei, für den Sieger Lucas Hahn, für Mark Taylor auf der zweiten und Stefan Faas auf der dritten Position auf dem Siegerpodest. Und es gibt auch hier das offizielle Foto. Und dann, Gentlemen, it's time for champagne!
And there the champagne flies then for Lucas Hahn, Mark Taylor and Stefan Faas. Very well done to each of them for some well-earned championship points. And they will go away and celebrate with the teams tonight and prepare themselves for another hard day's work tomorrow. Not two qualifying sessions, there's a good start. Qualifying and 2 races coming up tomorrow. We'll go over the times for those in a minute after the Chrome Championship standings. Lucas Hahn wins it with just nearly 8 seconds back to Mark Taylor. Stefan Faas in third position in class ahead of John Newell. Bradley Smith having a bit of a tough day at the office. He will finish 5th in that one, with Louis Requenco next up. Luke Garrett 7th, Stefan Kirsch 8th, and Christian Ruppert finishing in 9th in the Chrome class. A strong field of Chrome drivers this season. It's great to see it. Unfortunately, we have Clemens Hecker out of that race. Sorry, I had to really go down the list there. Bradley Smith then still leads the Chrome Championship. Mark Taylor in second place ahead of John Newell, with Clemens Hecker in 4th after dropping behind. Louis Requenco in 5th. Stefan Faas is 6th. Luke Garrett clear of Jonathan Andre, who we don't have with us here this weekend. Christian Ruppert on 34 points. And Lucas Hahn having a great start to his campaign there, as somebody clearly blocks somebody else on the Nordschleife. Stefan Kirsch, 28 points for him as well as of this weekend. He'll be adding to those in the later races later on. We're going to head back down to Christina now, who's got an interview for us.
Der dritte der Chrome-Wertung, the third of the Chrome category, Stefan Faas, absolutely happy, over the moon with the podium place. Wie glücklich bist du nach diesem Podiumplatz?
Ja, ich bin sehr glücklich darüber. Wir haben hart gearbeitet jetzt wieder in den Tagen zwischen Slowakia und hier, jetzt im Home Race. Ein Podiumsplatz ist natürlich mega, absolut.
I think the international audience understood the home race and the podium and mega. That sums it up absolutely. The Freightliner beauty on the grid, and right now some adjustments that have been made. Also ihr habt auf jeden Fall auch nochmal wieder dran gearbeitet. Ne?
Natürlich, wir arbeiten stetig dran. Wir wollen ja schneller werden und wir haben gesehen, wo das Potenzial liegt. Wir müssen es nur noch abholen.
They're absolutely constantly working on it and trying to reach the maximum potential. Maybe tomorrow? Was geht denn morgen schon?
Ja, schauen wir mal. Also das Team, die sind schon ganz aufgeregt wieder an den Truck ran, dass wir morgen den Truck wieder perfekt vorbereitet haben. Und dann geben wir natürlich wieder alles. Hoffentlich sehen wir uns wieder hier auf dem Podium.
So sieht's aus. Vielen Dank, Steffen. Alles Gute dir, erstmal einen guten Abend.
Danke.
Was geht heute noch? Müllenbachschleife ist ja ein bisschen was los. Ihr müsst natürlich eher arbeiten, ne?
Ja, nee, wir sind gestern Abend kurz unten gewesen, haben einmal durchgeschaut, haben alle Hallo gesagt. gesagt. Und ich denke, heute werde ich nicht runtergehen, weil einfach der Tag sehr anstrengend war und wir haben sehr viele Gäste hier und das Team, weiß ich nicht, ich denke mal nicht, dass sie runtergehen werden, weil einfach zu viel war heute und ja, wir werden einen entspannten Abend haben und Feuerwerk genießen.
Das klingt gut. Danke dir, all the best. So he's absolutely enjoying the evening right now and also working with the team for a perfect race tomorrow morning. And as you can see, everyone is getting the best pictures here right here. And we love to introduce you to an influencer, and her name is Ivona. Please come on in. Hello. Hi, my name is Christina. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, and she's very, very well known in, of course, all over the world because you've got international fans, and you are also, driving trucks with absolute passion. And what do you say about the Truck Grand Prix here? Also ich frage sie natürlich, sie ist eine sehr bekannte Influencerin, halt weltweit auch, und ist natürlich sehr passioniert, was das Thema Truck Racing auch angeht. Was sind die Erlebnisse hier gerade an diesem Wochenende?
Well, I think that it's like family reunion, a big family reunion, but there's like so much more horsepower and adrenaline. So atmosphere is absolutely like amazing, and I feel that the people that came here are so in love with the trucks, and there's a big passion, and I feel home here.
Sounds great. Sie sagt, sie fühlt sich hier total zu Hause, und natürlich haben wir sehr, sehr viel PS, viel mehr, als man das noch vielleicht von der normalen Straße so kennt. Aber sie sagt auch, das ist eine absolut großartige Familie hier. Insofern, you spend countless hours on the road and you're here with Eurowag. How does that improve the hours on the road? Sie ist natürlich hier auch mit Eurowag, dem neuen Partner der Goodyear 4 ETRC, und dementsprechend wollen wir natürlich von ihr wissen, was das für sie persönlich auch für Verbesserungen bringt.
Well, I'm sorry, but I didn't understand the question.
Sorry, about Eurowag, the improvement then for truck drivers.
Oh, well, I'm not only a truck driver, but also a carrier myself, so I own a transport company. So personally, I believe that Eurowag is like having Swiss Army knife for your business. So it's like fuel cards, telematics, road tolls, TMS, fleet management, road planning, and so much more. So, and it's all in one place, which is absolutely great. I feel that Eurowag helps me to concentrate less on the paperwork and let me do what I do the best, which is like driving safe, efficiently and smart. So, and I also feel that Eurowag helps me to keep in pace when it comes to latest technology and trends in the industry.
Absolutely. Also sie ist natürlich nicht nur eine Truckfahrerin, sondern sie hat auch ein Transportunternehmen, und Eurowag hilft da halt nicht nur Fahrerinnen und Fahrern mit der Organisation, sondern natürlich auch ihrem Unternehmen. Alles, was natürlich, ihr könnt euch das vorstellen, das Thema Maut angeht, Flottenorganisation, die komplette Logistik dahinter, da ist unfassbar viel Daten, die da gesammelt werden und natürlich organisiert werden, und da hilft Eurowag und hat dann ein großartiges System. What do you say about the difference seeing right now 5-ton machines racing here at the Nürburgring? Also dann nochmal diesen Unterschied herauszuarbeiten, wenn man hier diese 5-Tonnen-Maschinen sieht. How insane is that?
Well, when they were racing, I had the goosebumps. You know, it's like watching your everyday truck, but on an energy drink. So it's so loud, it's so powerful, it's so like amazing. So I had a feeling that generally about the trucks, that they are not just like working horses, but they have some craziness in them if they are driven by the proper people.
Sie sagt natürlich, wenn die richtigen Fahrerinnen und Fahrer drin sitzen, dann hauen diese Trucks hier richtig nochmal was raus, und sagt vor allen Dingen auch, das ist so ein bisschen wie ein normaler Truck, aber halt tatsächlich auf Energy Drink. Und genauso können wir es auch sagen, denn da steckt so viel Kraft und Power hier in diesem Wettbewerb. Das ist natürlich großartig. You have got such a great and amazing and loving community. How do you interact with all your fans? Sie hat natürlich eine riesengroße Fanbase halt auch noch, die so viel Herzblut da reinstecken. Was macht es aus für Sie, mit denen allen zu sprechen?
Well, I keep driving all the time, so I meet them like on the road on an everyday basis, on the parkings and the places where we load and unload, and of course mostly on the internet, because on my social media I try to show like the human side of being a truck driver. So we are truck drivers. We are not only like driving. We are professionals. We are like problem solvers. And at the end of the day, we are also like family family members. We are missing our homes, we are missing our families, and we make it home only from time to time. So this is like one thing, but also on my social media I try to like act for our society when it comes to working conditions, because apparently the working conditions of truckers unfortunately are not very nice right now in Europe. So I believe that we truckers deserve like the same working conditions like any other workers, and access to clean, sunny facilities in the places where we load or unload, and safe parking lots to take a rest after the work and before the work. So yeah.
Thank you very much for your effort, Ivona. All the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ich übersetze euch das ganz schnell. Nur sie hat natürlich ganz viele Erlebnisse mit Fans, auch gerade dann, wenn natürlich Ware geliefert und angeliefert und abgeliefert wird. Und dann trifft sie euch da draußen und ist, glaube ich, auch für ein Gespräch bereit. Und natürlich auf Social Media. Also Ivona Blecharczyk, folgt ihr auf Instagram. Wir verlinken sie natürlich auch nochmal. Und dementsprechend geht da gerne in einen Austausch, denn sie ist eine absolute Kämpferin. Vor allen Dingen auch für die Bedingungen von Truckfahrern und Truckfahrerinnen, dass sie halt sagt, Mensch, wir müssen da natürlich, auch wenn wir dann die Ruhepausen haben, da eine sichere, saubere Umgebung haben, in der wir dann selber auch wieder auftanken können. Deswegen sie ist eine große Kämpferin, nicht nur für den Sport, sondern natürlich auch für das Daily Business. Also vielen lieben Dank. We say thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Danke. Tschüss.
Und das war's hier von dem nächsten Rennen, und das nächste wartet ja schon am morgigen Sonntag. Ich wünsche euch bis dahin noch ganz viel Freude hier auf dem Festival. Es gibt natürlich morgen noch ein paar Eindrücke von uns, und dann starten wir wieder mit einem Qualifying morgen früh am Sonntag. Noch ganz viel vor hier, also stay tuned.
Aber das, was